Middle East Technical University. It started its education in 1956 under the name of Middle East Institute of Technology. It was renamed Middle East Technical University in 1957. The settlement plan of the present campus of the Middle East Technical University, which was approved by the Turkish Grand National Assembly in 1959, was obtained by the National Project Competition, opened in 1961 with the participation of international juries. Construction of the campus was started on May 12, 1961 with the building of the Faculty of Architecture, in line with the projects of Altu and Behruz Çinici, who won the competition. The completion of the construction of the building envisaged by the Çinici's plan took until the late 1970s. One of the first Republican university settlements in Turkey, Metu Ankara campus was built as one of the important representatives of modern architecture in an effort to industrialize, but in a country with no building industry. As a result of superior efforts, and thanks to this campus, a university and its life was created. Altu and Behruz Çinici stated in their plan reports that the main purpose behind the Metu campus design process is to create a university that will affect the planning of the country and the life of the society. As stated in the report, the campus has view of the Ankara in the east. It has nature in the west and the mountain landscapes in the east. As it mentioned, view and landscape have been one of the primary design criteria in the design of a campus. The core campus area, which was laid the foundations with the Çinici plan, consists of three main regions according to functional groups. The first one is academic region. The open academic challenge linking the administrative sciences, education, science and literature, architecture, engineering and agriculture faculties on a dominating ridge in Ankara is set up as Forum. The Forum is a pedestrian backbone which is completely pedestrianized with intense activity on it. The second one is Central Region. Administration and Student Center is considered in 2 points. There is a central library, auditorium, fine arts galleries, administration building, cafeteria, and the representative secretary grow between them. The third one is non-academic district, which consists of dormitories, lodgings, social facilities, and sport areas.
The campus tissue is organized along the pedestrian circulation axis, which is called Aile and Forum, the backbone of the settlement system. The main pedestrian spine is aligned to the topographic structure extending in north-south direction along the ridge. In the west, along the pedestrian path is the academic zone, and in the east is the center formed by the common structures. A second axis of approach formed in the center provides the connection with the non-academic zone. The backbone is an interaction corridor that connects the natural and human-made values that make up the campus beyond only functioning as a north-south access road. Several resting areas are projected on the spine. These resting areas are supported by trees that give shade in front of the structures and water elements that affect the micro-air conditioning of the environment. As a result of relationship between the structures of spine, continuity and fluidity are provided between the outer spaces and the interior spaces. The aile increasingly affects the internal order of the structures. There are sculptures and busts along the way. This turns the central pedestrian axis into an open-air museum, so the axis was brought stronger and more striking still. The strategic design approach to the existing areas of the campus and the areas that may develop in the future has been discussed on three main axes. These three axes extending in the north-south direction are defined based on the existing structure areas of the campus, the special needs of these areas, and the topographic data of the campus. The goal here is to ensure spatial integrity of the campus by sticking to the design decisions made in the past, especially on the pedestrian spine, by taking this design approach in new development areas. As it is shown in the diagram, the first improvement axis is called main settlement part, and the second is transition part, Lastly, the third one is Technopark area. And these three axes are connected with pedestrian ways and car roads.
This part of documentary is about brutalism and brutalism in Turkish context. Brutalism is a modernist movement that has occurred from strong articulation of solids. Brutalist buildings are characterized by their massive and blocky appearance with a rigid geometric style and large-scale use of poured concrete. In terms of material, partially exposed concrete with wooden formwork is used, and using repetitive elements is creating rhythms on facades. Also, we can see concrete sunbreakers, gargoyles, and cornices. When we look at the history of this movement, we can see that brutalism was spread all over the world after the Second World War. Many buildings, especially schools, university, and college buildings, were built according to this style. If we looked into more special, brutalism can be seen in such countries like England and USA, especially in buildings of architectural schools and faculties. It was thought that brutalism is the most proper style for these types of buildings because it emphasized durability, power, and dignity. Also, it could be connected with science and knowledge as well. When we examine in Turkish context of this movement, we can see lots of examples. For example, building of Metu, Department of Architecture, was the first example of such character. The brute expression of the concrete throughout the structure is quite legible in the interior spaces as well as in the structural elements. In addition, the concrete's gross expression was supported with lean details applied at various points, and a successful application was made. As I said before, it was a common idea that brutalism aesthetics was considered to be the most appropriate one for the university buildings in that period. In Turkey, this movement can be seen not only in the university's buildings but also in the residential houses and plazas. The acceptance of brutalism in Turkey started in the period after 1960. Also, brutalist samples in Turkey show the influence of Le Corbusier because he uses generally already used buildings, materials and techniques in Turkey like reinforced concrete, natural stone, wood and brick. That's the reason why in Turkey it is integrated in regular architectural approaches easily. In addition, materials and functions without depending on patterns, certain geometric forms, self-finished, most original form reflection is one of the most main characteristic of style. This is a very common architectural attitude, especially in our traditional residential architecture. It can be seen lots of factory and Ankara TED settlement as well.